To most people, going off the grid means chopping wood, digging wells, and harvesting the garden, not actually accomplishing anything that's related to work. But in this distracted, technology-packed, constantly connected world that we're living in, going off the grid, at least temporarily and part-time, can be one of the best things you do for your productivity. And we're going to get into all of that today on Renegade News. Welcome back to Renegade News. I'm your host, Glenn Kowalski. Every week on this channel, you'll discover the latest news, tactics, and strategies to break free from the system, pay less tax, and live anywhere in the world that you choose. So let's get right into it. Okay, I admit I'm an introvert, and I drive my family absolutely nuts because they can never get a hold of me, or they say they can never get a hold of me. But that's because while I haven't quite mastered it yet, I've discovered that it's possible to get so much more done if you're off the grid, at least in small blocks of time. We have become this society that's so connected all the time and that everybody thinks that everyone should be available all the time. Email, phones, messenger, they dominate our daily lives. I was originally bitching to a partner about having to be connected to email, messenger, Slack, Telegram, Keybase, WhatsApp, and Matrix, and how I kept getting shit because I missed a single group message in any one of those things. One of Nashville's most successful songwriters, Bobby Braddock, who's the co-writer of He Stopped Loving Her Today, he's talked about how much he used to get done back in the 70s and 80s. He said that, I'd write 10 songs a month. I took vacations, I party, and he read a lot. Nowadays, with all the distractions, we don't get anywhere near that accomplished. So what will it take to get off the grid for a while so you can get more done? Well, for starters, I've discovered that you can't just do it, you have to prepare for it. At the start of the day, you need to look at your tasks for the day and figure out which ones require you to be available and what meetings you need to attend. Obviously, you can't be off grid for those. I find it helpful to block time and try to group all those things together whenever possible. For example, in my case, Tuesday's my meeting day. And yes, by the end of that day, as an introvert, I am exhausted. But it also means that during the rest of the week, I can drop off the grid and nobody really gets up in my face for it, or at least there's a lot less of it. Next, set up your email with an autoresponder. People are less likely to be upset with you and your lack of responsiveness if they get something back promising that you're going to get back to them. Then turn your email off. Yes, off. Don't leave it running in the background. Don't set your phone with it on beside you. Shut it down completely. Next, do the equivalent with your messenger service. Set a status for any of the messenger features, systems that allow that. And then shut them down. No notifications, no little pop-ups, nothing. Then shut off your phone. Again, don't just turn off the ringer. You're going off the grid. Worst case scenario, put it in another room completely with the ringer off. Then close your office door if possible, or even better yet, go somewhere else. I don't recommend a coffee shop for these off-the-grid times. They can be great places to get work done, but they're about as far from off the grid as you can get. If it's completely impossible for you to get away from the office or from your home during these off-grid times, put on noise-canceling headphones, but keep the music off. And yes, noise-canceling headphones does use technology and some power, so it's not completely off the grid, but it's going to help you simulate that environment if you can't actually get to a cabin in the woods. Speaking of which, nature sounds would be a good replacement for the music. If you absolutely need to work on your computer during this off-grid time, it's best if you can disconnect from the internet. If you can't, at least get distraction blocking software like Motion, which I'll link to in the comments, or to other Facebook blocking tools and tools that block other distracting pages. Now, just work. Get that writing done that you've been procrastinating on. Plan your year, whatever that is. Getting away from the technology you are so addicted to isn't going to be easy at first. So start by setting a small time frame or set the trigger at finishing a specific task. Just be sure if you do it that way that the task will fit into a reasonable time frame, otherwise it's not going to work. Start with an hour, then increase it to 2. Eventually you might find that you could spend a whole full day off grid, or maybe even a few. And at that point, you know that you are truly free. But our corporate overlords, the government, the banks, and all the other bureaucrats don't want you to be free. They want you trapped on this hamster wheel 9 to 5 that they call the American dream. So that's why you should subscribe to Renegade News right now. That way, every week you'll discover the latest infringements and wins in your search for more freedom and liberty in this unfree world. And don't forget to check out the video you see on the screen right now for more tips on living with more personal, financial, and location independence. I'm Glenn Kowalski from Renegade News, and I'll see you over there.